Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. All right, today this is very impromptu, but I put in the word goals because I was looking at previous goals, and I found this entry that I had to. It's like in my notes, in my little app that I use for journaling, and I had to share this with you because it's really not funny, but then I found myself laughing at, it was a pros and cons list of a very significant ex that I don't want to give too much detail, but let's just say, I don't want to give a time frame, but we had reconnected at one point, and I had grown quite a bit and he had grown quite a bit. So it was kind of one of those, maybe, could this be good? Then I made a list, the reality of so-and-so. The first thing on my list was his affection is not because he adores you and cherishes you. He's not really interested in what you have to say. Whoa. Just the top two. Just to be able to recognize that I could see that his affection wasn't an adoration of me, but rather that he liked affection. He liked, that the way it made him feel, but it wasn't because he actually adored me. And this is where it's like, how do you know when you have that ex you reconnect with, like, how do you know it's really not the one? How do you know that this isn't it? This is, even though it could be a little better, even though it might be, he's grown a lot, does he really have what it takes to be a husband, somebody that's long-term? I think just the two things right off the bat, when I think of Ian and I think of how much he adores me and cherishes me and how much we adore and cherish each other, and that his affection is the actual way he, I don't want to say manifest that, but it's the way he expresses that to me. And I was just reading this list. I'm like, oh my God, I have to tell you guys, like, this is crazy. He's not really interested in what you have to say. I mean, I'm in my office right now. I can tell you, I don't even know, thousands of times by this point in the last over a year that we've been talking about Gumball Love together, and Ian would sit here, and even last night he had this face and I was talking about something and I was like, what is this face? I feel like you're disagreeing with me and I am not going to waver on this point. And he was like, no, I'm actually thinking about XYZ. And I was like, oh, that's what the face was about. And so not only was he listening, but he was actually contemplating something that ended up being like, I was like, that's actually really brilliant. Now I'm going to write that down. Though the difference, just the huge difference between hoping someone is listening to what you're saying or caring about what you're saying, and the idea that I could look at a man and think, could I make this work when he's not actually interested in what I'm saying? My next one, I just want to read you this list. My next one was, he's intimidated by your success. So right away, I'll just give you a parallel example. Yesterday, I was listening to Tony Robbins all day, and Ian was like, okay, he's like, look at what Tony Robbins does to you. It just like made me a huge spaz all day. And it was like, I was just like, blah, 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 blah. And so then he could handle that. He was just like right there with me. Okay, well, what about this? What about that? And then he was just smiling at me like, okay, this is good. Listen to Tony Robbins more often. I just kind of forgot because I don't talk about Tony very often, and I should be talking about him all the time, but it's just, I've found other coaches and other people, but I've kind of rediscovered him recently, and he was being interviewed by Ed Milet. So if you don't know Ed Milet, also a great podcast. And just the way, as a side note, when I think I was around 15 or 16, my parents had divorced and I'd gone back and forth with mom and dad. And then I happened to be living with my dad at the time. And I got in this like huge cleaning mood, like, no shocker. If you know me, I'm always like cleaning and organizing. And I found this cassette tape series. I know, cassette tape. It was in the early 90s. I know, I'm so old, but I think most of us that are listening might be in that same genre. And if you aren't, then enjoy your beautiful, plump, youthful skin. Anyway, so I found these cassettes, and it was called Unlimited Power. And I just put them in while I was cleaning. And I was like, this is great. It was kind of like the beginning of listening to audio and how inspired I get by audio, and why I have a podcast going all the time. Like if I'm not actually focused on something, I have a podcast going. It's like, oh, I'm going into the shower, turn on a podcast. I'm in the car going somewhere, I'm doing laundry, there's a podcast. So I'm listening to Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins from very early on put me in a growth mindset. Like you have to be growing and setting goals. And I remember one of the things he said, how to get whatever you want. Ask for what you want. And it was just like such a simple concept. Like, are you asking for what you want? Are you going for what you want? And then you can probably hear it in my voice. Like, energy is the most important thing. And I feel so energized. I was listening to him again this morning, and he was saying how the most important thing we can do is take care of our physical body, because that's where our actual physical energy comes from. And if you don't have energy, you really don't have anything else. So taking care of your body should be number one. And I have been really focused on taking care of my body even more so. But I told Ian yesterday, sorry, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I told Ian yesterday, I was like, Michael Bosstick from the Skinny Confidential, if you don't know Lauren Bosstick, he was saying how he prioritized health over everything, even over his wife and kid. He was like, yep, over everything, because if I don't have my physical health, I don't have anything. What do I have to offer people if I'm low energy? And low energy always makes me think of low energy guys when we're dating. They're low energy. They don't have the vitality to even participate, to be excited, to be enthusiastic about life, about going on a date, about having experiences with you. So here I was talking to my ex, and I'm realizing this interaction we're having is nothing to do with me. When I'm speaking, I was comfortable enough in my own skin where I could observe him much better. And I could see, oh, okay. And then I could see when I would talk about work, he was intimidated. I could also, I have here, he's bored when you talk. And then my next line is, this is what made me jump on the podcast. He's boring when he talks. I actually realized he was boring. And I had spent so much time hoping he would want me that I never really realized that he was actually kind of boring. And this is why I get so enthusiastic about the work I'm doing with all the women I'm coaching, is that we have to be so excited about our lives because and excited about what we're doing, and be enthusiastic and engaged and doing hobbies or exploring interests. Like, I always joke, like, I don't mean when I say do a hobby, like, okay, now you have to take up basket weaving 3 times a week. Like, you don't have to do that. You need to just be experiencing, like, I want you to be listening to podcasts you like to listen to. I want you to be reading books that you actually really enjoy, that you can't wait to read the next page of that book. Or watch shows. I mean, even if you are watching shows, watch shows that you love to watch. And if you love if you love like a trashy show on TV, like why do you like it? I mean, I'll admit like a trashy show I loved was Gossip Girl. Why did I like it? Because it was in New York and there was this, I don't know, sometimes the cinematography of a show will be what like can take you into that cozy place. And for some reason, even though I would not want to live that life that they were living on the Upper East Side, although I would totally live in one of those apartments, it just, I wouldn't want that life and that pressure and just what they would do on a daily basis. But there was just something about the way they shot the scenes and the energy. And I don't know, it was just something a world I liked going into. And so explore that world and get into it. You know, that's what I'm saying about like, there's just sometimes we don't realize even a trashy TV show that we think we're wasting our time. There's something there we like, and just take a couple extra moments to just think about what is it that I like here? Because maybe there's something here that has nothing to do with the show, but it has something to do with a passion or a desire. I mean, I had a girl that was my assistant years ago in New York. This is just hilarious. And she had given me her resume, and she was this nice girl, beautiful, intelligent. And we were talking about cheerleading in high school. And she was like, oh yeah, I did dance, and I actually did dance in college. And I was like, oh really, where'd you go to college? She goes, Harvard. And I'm like, what? You went to Harvard? When? She was like, yeah, I know. I didn't put it on my resume. Who doesn't put Harvard on their resume? When they are applying for a job to be someone's personal assistant, you know what she would do for me? Cook, walk the dogs, clean, organize, keep my life together, which I desperately need right now. So I'm in the process of figuring out how I can get I have my assistant April who helps me, and Dana who produces this podcast, but I need an in-person person to help me with life stuff. Anyway, so her name was Jackie. I miss Jackie terribly. And so I was like, what? You went to Harvard Business School? She went to Harvard Business School, got the impressive job, and hated it. She hated it. And so she was trying to figure out what she was going to do with life. And she goes like, I just wanted to take this job. And she wanted to explore going to design school. So she was enrolled in Parsons Design School. And I remember asking her, so how did you go to Harvard, or what happened? And she was like, you know what inspired me to go to Harvard? I was like, what? And she was like, Legally Blonde. And I was like, oh my God, Elle Woods inspired her to go to Harvard. And so she, had the brains to be able to apply and go to Harvard. But that movie, a cute little movie with Elle, I will be honest, I feel like it is a very inspiring movie, and it is kind of cheesy, but I love that movie. I can walk away like when she's on her little elliptical and she's reading her books and she's like getting ready to, when she's studying for her LSAT. I don't know. There's just something so inspiring about somebody taking control of their life and going for their dream. So anyway, I just want you to remember to explore that. So I'm going to go back to my list. I put on the list, so he's boring when he talks. So that was a whole tangent about why are we boring? Because we're not really pursuing our interests. And then his next one was he can't sustain a job because of his lack of relationship building skills. So I remember listening to him speak, and his ability to keep a job or sustain work was always in jeopardy because he couldn't get along with people very well. So he could fake it, and I would put him maybe in that narcissistic, lower on the spectrum, maybe sociopath, kind of a disconnect from people, didn't really have that desire to really be friends and invest in other people very much. He couldn't get promotions either because of that reason. So this is on my list. Thinks every single girl is his wife, so I was one of those girls in the lineup or in the rotation. And he moved all the time. It was like, now we're in this apartment, now we're in that apartment. So he was very erratic, very money focused, no faith, didn't have faith in God, no morals or values. He didn't like dogs, which I forgot about that part. So I'm just sharing this with you because now you can see who I'm with today. and who I was considering. And I just want you to hear the cons list. I saw that he was insecure. I saw that he was making little progress in therapy because he was trying to impress his therapist. How he goes MIA on texts. So, we would be talking and then all of a sudden he would just fall off. And then I would just have to be like, well, okay, whatever. And then he would come back, but it was just like rude in the moment, like, okay, I guess you're gone now. And in almost a year where Ian and I were long distance, he never did that to me. There was always hey, I'm going to run to do this. I'll be back in a little while. Can I catch up with you later? Sure. He never left me hanging, ever. I mean, it's just like little things like that, just thoughtfulness, consideration. I put here, no hobbies. I kind of forgot that too. Like he was a guy that just worked and went to the gym, but he had nothing else to talk about but work and the gym. And he was inconsistent. I put no intimacy, unavailable. I mean, like I was just writing all these things off. No life plan. I remember I asked him, what would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do? And he was like, I don't know. He couldn't think of one thing he would do. I'm like, wouldn't you want to go travel and go see stuff? And yeah, I suppose I would go travel. But there wasn't like an excitement about seeing anything specific. There wasn't a enthusiasm. And that's a really critical word I want you to think about, enthusiasm. I put here he wouldn't be a good father. You can't have such a disconnect with everything and then not be and be a good father or connect with kids. So I put, can't connect with kids, very into himself. No donations to charity or care for people who have less than him. He's always the victim, tries to manipulate his therapists. Here were the pros. Nice to talk to sometimes, smart, thoughtful when he wants to be. I put so adorable, engaging, affectionate. But then affectionate was, really kind of for himself, not really about me. That's it. That's all I had to deal with. But, when we met, it was very electric, lots of chemistry, lots of intensity. I thought, oh my gosh, I was getting the butterflies. So a lot of people will tell you, butterflies mean it's bad. I had butterflies with Ian too. So I don't know that we need to overthink butterflies, because butterflies are, it's just an excitement. It's just your body is reacting to, chemistry. So just because you have chemistry doesn't mean that they are the one, but it doesn't mean. So that's what I think it means. Like, don't mistake butterflies for being like, this is the one, but also, it doesn't have to mean that he's not either. You know what I mean? So I just think we're losing the part where we can just have fun and be excited about a connection and roll with it for a while and not have the expectation of here comes the bride, let's not have the expectation of marriage in day 1, day 2, day 3. One of my girls in my group coaching, which you can join, by the way, if you go to the link in my bio or gumballove.com, go to the link in my bio and Instagram, or you can just send me an email, melissa@gumballove.com, or you can email April, support@gumballove.com, and she will get you all set up in the group coaching class. We meet every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you can't be there, we do record it so you can see the replays. And some people are like, I'm at work, but I can listen in my earbuds, like whatever you have to do to show up. Because if you're like, all right, I am, maybe you're in this situation. Like I just read, like I have all these red flags with this guy, but I can't let him go. I don't know how to separate myself from this. I feel stuck. I feel stuck in online dating. Some of you are really looking at online dating and being like, is this for me? Go online if you want. But if you don't want to be there, then don't be there, because you can meet people in real life. So we talk about how to meet people in real life. What should you be doing? What should you be doing right now? Because is what you're doing working? Sometimes we have to look at it and go, look, this plan that I'm on is clearly not taking me to where I want to go. And there's a guy named Dean Graziosi, an inspirational speaker, friend of Tony Robbins. He has what he calls closing the gap. And all he did was write a box. This is where you are, and another box. This is where you want to be. Where do you want to be? What are your goals? And how do we get you from point A to point B? How do we get you to that place that you want to be? And what is that journey in between? What do you need to do? One of my clients was like, Melissa, I don't know if this is working for me. You're telling me all the things that I already know. And we had a good laugh and I was like, but are you actually doing the things that you already know? And that's what coaching is for. Because I told her, I said, I'm signing up for Kara Alwell's Iconic program. And I probably know a lot of the things that she's going to tell me. But am I doing those things? All of them? Probably not. Is she farther ahead of me? Yes. Does she have a bigger brand and a bigger business? Yes. Is she somebody I respect? She's helping women. She's doing a lot of the same things that I'm doing for you, but she's a few steps ahead of me. And she's always been somebody I've looked to for advice, and we've become friends, but she's going to say things to me that I need to hear that I may already know and that I know I maybe should be doing. So you hire a coach to make sure that you do it. Olympic athletes, they know how to do the sport, but they have a coach standing there making sure that they do it and that they do it right and that they stay focused and they stay on track. Every successful person has a coach. Think about that. Every successful person has a coach. So if we don't have coaches, if we're not getting help in some way along this journey, it's going to take a lot freaking longer. And do you have that kind of time? I told one of my clients, I saw a red flag in a guy that today I would be done right then. And we've been dating for I don't even know, a month or less. And I would have dumped him like that. But back then I didn't know better. So I dated him for 2 years. 2 years of my life that I could have had back had I known. And yes, my client said, but didn't you learn from that? Of course, I learned from that. But do I want to, I believe that we can learn from our mistakes 100%, and we shouldn't beat ourselves up. So I shouldn't, but I also believe in the Maya Angelou quote, when you know better, you do better. And that's what I feel responsible to help you. I want to help you know better and do better faster. I don't want you to spend one more day with the wrong guy. I want to teach you how to figure this out before you have feelings, because even the person that I spent that 2 years with, it's, I wasn't even that attracted to him. I felt like he was a nice guy. And I ignored red flags because I just didn't understand what I was doing. And I was spending time that I could have been doing something else. I actually had Gumball Love at the very beginning. I was creating this and I let that relationship in my life, and it slowed me down. It took days and weeks away from being able to create because he made me feel so bad about myself. And so I had to dig myself out of a hole. And yes, you do get stronger digging yourself out. It took a lot for me to get out of that and move on from it. It was painful because eventually we do start to care. And then when you care, you have to go through that whole breakup process, and that takes time. So maybe you can do what I did, make your pros and cons list. What is actually, and I actually put at the top of this, the reality of so-and-so. What is the reality of him? What's actually going on here? What am I experiencing really? Is he really listening? Is he really connecting? Does he, one thing I wanted to say, the whole reason I brought up Tony Robbins is because I was realizing that when you are listening to podcasts like this, so you're listening to me right now because you have a growth mindset. The girls that are in the group coaching, if you're even thinking about doing coaching, look, if you try it and you think I'm ridiculous, I will give you your money back. I have a money back guarantee on everything. Like if you join anything, you do coaching, you're like, I don't know, this isn't what I thought, then I will do whatever I can to get you what you want. And if you're still unhappy, I have zero cares about giving you your money back, just because if I can't make it worth it for you and you don't feel like you're getting what you need, then I don't want you to spend your money with me. But if you are ready to take that step and say, okay, this is enough. I'm not going to let another year go by. Cause look, we're already, month of January is already gone. We're going to be in the summertime before you know it. How much time do you want to let go by? Really just be honest with yourself. Is the plan I'm on working? Do I know how to filter guys out? Do I know how to figure out the red flags? Do I know which red flags? I've come up with a new thing of some red flags have root systems attached. Like that ain't just one little red flag. That is a whole shit show underneath there that you try to pull on that sucker, and that is deeply rooted. And to sign up with that kind of a guy for a long term, there is no fairy tale there. I think sometimes we're trying so hard to make it work with a guy, and then it's like, do you stop and think, what is that life that I would have with this guy that I think is so great? I mean, look at the life I would have had, a life with somebody that can't grow with me. And that is the one thing that Ian loves most about me, or I think one of the things is that there's always a challenge mentally. He's like, we always have things to talk about. We were just talking about like if we go on vacation, he was like, I said, babe, no matter where we go, we can entertain each other. And he was like, that's true. It's like, if we're there, it's where it's at. I'm like, yeah. So it doesn't matter if we stay in the finest hotels or whatever, as long as we're together, we're good, because we can entertain each other all day long. We have enough ideas, and but do you see how that part of me that grows is what keeps my relationship going? Where that part of me that is growing was what made the ex uncomfortable. So I had to hide some of that. I couldn't geek out about a Tony Robbins podcast. I couldn't talk about, ooh, wait, I mean, if you could see me behind the scenes, I'm constantly thinking about, oh, wait, like we had this whole other thing. Like, why are we dating this kind of a guy? Why are we choosing him? What's going on there? Why do I think this guy is great? It's like, I could have made this podcast that title of why do I think this guy is so great? What is it about him that I think is going to be so dreamy? I guess the way I started to think about it is, okay, let's picture it. You're in a house somewhere. Let's say it's a beautiful house and you have this guy, and then what? You're still like making coffee, standing in the kitchen, making an omelet. There he is, not paying attention, texting somebody, and you're wondering who it is, and he doesn't like your dog or your cat. You know what I mean? Like, what is that life? That's no fun. I don't care how cute they are. That sucks. And so then I picture myself in the same beautiful house, kick him out, keep the dogs and the cats, and, make your omelet. Peaceful. Getting that mofo out that's not paying attention, texting somebody else and not growing, that sucks. This guy that you're obsessed about that isn't available and is being a jerk, he sucks. He sucks to live with. He's not engaging. He's not fun to be around your family. He's not fun to be around your friends. We are fantasizing about a guy that is kind of awful, not really going to be that great. But so what is it? So this is what we do in the group and what I do with you one-on-one. So if you can afford to do, my ideal is to coach you one-on-one for at least 4 sessions. So I offer that in my Level Up for Love. So we want to level you up. So I do 4 one-on-one coaching sessions where we go pretty deep. And one of my girls really challenged me, and I'm so glad she did, because she was the one that came to me and was like, I'm not really getting what I want out of this. And I was like, ooh, why? And so then she explained it to me, and I was like, okay, we're going to go a lot deeper. And then when we did, it made me realize that you guys are really ready for the deep stuff and the stuff that's kind of behind, the gumball flavors. And she really lit up, and she was like, okay, this is what I needed. And it was such a breakthrough for me to feel like that permission to really go deep. Because I also don't want to give you too much and blow you away or make you feel, like your therapist can't just tell you, okay, here's everything I think that's wrong with you and what you need to fix. I mean, we need to do this in a gradual process of, because I'm sensitive to it because I went through it, and I wouldn't have wanted somebody to throw it all at me at once. I don't think I could have handled it. But we're working through a process where it really helps you see, what is it that I like about this guy? Why do I like it? What is it that I'm hanging on to? Why am I stuck here? And so in a lot of aspects, we're stuck somewhere. We're stuck on the guy. We feel like we're stuck being single. We feel like we're stuck in the relationship, and we don't know how to move forward. So this is where you want to hire a coach, whether that's me or somebody else, but I want to help you, and I will obsess over you like a mother hen, not in a creepy way. I'm not going to like stalk you or anything, but I have systems set up. So we have a Slack channel where you can DM me and say, okay, Melissa, I'm thinking this is what's going on with me. And I love hearing what's going on with you on a day-to-day basis. So then when I coach you the next time, I know, okay, this is where she is. This is where I want to take her to the next level. So then I also have a group coaching. It's a group of girls that we've just built over the last month. They're all really starting to open up. I swear you guys are the best freaking girls. Like, I'm so proud of who shows up in my groups. And I have coaches that are like, oh, maybe you should vet these people out. You don't want to have like, no one bad shows up. It's weird. So knock on wood, no one bad shows up. Like, I never have to kick anyone out of my group. It's always so warm and loving. And right now, everyone's really opening up and loving on each other and supporting each other. And they're all saying, oh, this is so great to know I have a support system and I'm not alone. And that is I want you to have me as your coach, but I also want you to have like a team. And I never thought of it as a team. Join the team. So yeah, you get one-on-one, or you get the group coaching, or you get both. If you can afford it, both is great. So I can really zero in on you, and then you can, and then each weekly call. So we have a call every week for an hour, and we dig in on a lot of these things. So as I'm working with different people, sometimes it's like, hey, Sarah, we don't have a Sarah, so I'm just giving like a fake example. Like, tell everybody what happened to you this week. So, oh my God, I was dating this guy and this is what happened. And we had some really fun stories that we were sharing, and how that she's like, you know what? Normally I would have given this guy another chance. Normally I would have. And she's like, you know what? I didn't. I let him go. It was awesome. So if you join, I would love to tell you guys the whole story. Maybe she would tell it on the podcast. And then she, instead of fixating on that guy, she cut him loose like a champion, my model student. And then she's like, and guess what? I have a date with somebody else. Normally I would have been like so excited that guy wanted to just go out with me again. But now I'm moved on, and now I'm on to the next guy. Oh, it's just like that kind of stuff where low energy, guy that's like not worth your time doesn't get another second. He doesn't get to show up in the inbox. He's gone. And then she got to move on to somebody else. And who knows? I don't know if this guy is, what's going to happen. But the bottom line is, I want to teach you how to do that, so you don't feel like, but am I missing out? No, you're not missing out on some low effort guy that, is going to disappoint you or be inconsistent, all the things. So that's a whole nother podcast. So I want to help you raise the bar. This is why I called it Level Up for Love. And the weekly, I want to call it a masterclass. I don't know why I'm just done is better than perfect. So I'm just like, all right, we just need a place where we can coach. So we're leveling up for love. And then in the masterclass, each week we have a class where we all come together as a group. We pick topics. We have a stylist coming in, Danielle from Aesthetically Obsessed. So I'm sure she will be coming back at more times, because I think too, like, I want to help you with other areas. This is also just what will be included if you do group coaching, and if you don't, just something to think about. Other areas of your life. Like, yes, we can talk about relationships, but I don't want to bombard you with that. I want to bring in other experts to help you with like, what's going on in your closet. Like, I don't know about you, but the last 2 years, my wardrobe has gotten kind of weird. I mean, it's like, I used to wear more suits, and, now I'm like, it's like, athleisure and athleisure and occasional, maybe an outfit that I might wear out occasionally. But we've all been home for so much time that what's going on in our closets, like I had 2 sessions with her. Both sessions were one in September and one this week. And I cleaned out my closet both times. I was like, Danielle, it just feels heavy in here. It just feels dark and dingy. And I had this idea, like, why aren't we decorating our closets? Like, why isn't that a thing? Like, why we have this room that's full of clothes and then we know we don't paint it. We don't put any pictures up. Maybe you do. But I was like, if you are interested in decorating closets or you have closet decor ideas, I would love to know. I know when some people put better lighting fixtures, that is one thing I noticed. My closet was too dark. And so it just felt like bleh. And there were just things I wasn't wearing. And I really needed to like have a major, reality check with my closet. And then also learning what to buy. So see, even in that, I am not a fashionista. I need help in that area. I hired a coach. So these are some services I want to offer to you in the group. So right now, the girls are quickly going through and thinking of the questions that they want to ask Danielle, and they're all going to get hot seat coached about style, fashion, closet. One girl's like, how many bras should I own? How can I fold my jeans? How can I be more organized in my closet? So it's not necessarily like, we're not all trying to walk down the runway, but even just like, how to look cute on a Zoom call. Like, is there something I can do differently that would make me look a little bit more put together on Zoom and not like me where I'm wearing the same like blazer or some kind of a jacket every time? I feel like I look kind of the same every time. So it's things like that elevate and upgrade. So we can just be tweaking and always thinking about, this is really what I did when I moved to New York. I upgraded everything. And this is why I love Kara, because her iconic group is Upgrade It All. I just love Kara's brand. It just like I can look on her Instagram and know and think, I just feel like I feel elevated just by looking at it. She has such a way of presenting content. So surround yourself with the people that inspire you. And just think about, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? Where am I now? Let's think of Dean Graziosi's example. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? How am I going to fill that gap? What has to happen? Is what you're doing working? If it's not working, then reach out to me. Join the group. It's $111 a month and you get 4 interactive masterclasses and you get access to the Slack group where you can DM me and you can also DM Ian. I have added Ian to this group. He joins a lot of our weekly calls, so you can interact with us as a couple. You can ask him questions. You can get the guy's perspective, but also a guy's perspective that's trained in Gumball Love content, so he knows all of this inside and out. We talk about it every day. He built the back end of the quiz, so I trust him implicitly to know and understand all of the flavors of attention, and he edits my book as I'm writing the content. So, you've got access to both of us now. You have access to the group, and we are all getting access to all those guest speakers that are starting to come in. So I know that it's the month of the love of Valentine's Day. So I'm going to give you my quick tip on Valentine's Day, and we're going to end it on this. You know what I started doing on Valentine's Day when I was single? I just started loving on all my girls. You guys, if you may have gotten a happy Valentine's Day from me on Instagram and you're like, I never talked to this chick. I've sent her like one thing, but I go through my Instagram and DM you guys happy Valentine's Day for as long as I can. I'll do it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I just want each of you to get a Valentine. So send all the women you know Valentines. Why not embrace it? I just think it's such a cute holiday. It's like, I want to like channel when we were little and we gave each other Valentines when we were like, in second grade, and everybody gave each other like candy hearts and stuff. Like, why can't we bring that? Like, I want to channel that more so than trying to make it some romantic dinner, because restaurants are packed. It's like, it's really kind of rushed, and the romance of, is it really romantic at some random restaurant where there's 5,000 couples in there, and it's just like, and then when you're on Valentine's Day, they like want you to hurry up and eat and get out so they can move to the next. Like the reality of it, like we need to stop trying to force romance into one one day on one event. It's kind of like New Year's Eve. It's a little overrated from the romance perspective. So shift your mindset around it and think about, remember when on Sex and the City, when Charlotte's daughter Lily sent Carrie a Valentine. And if you're not familiar with the show, Charlotte was Carrie's friend or is Carrie's friend now. They're back on the show, but her daughter was just a little girl at the time. And obviously Charlotte, the mom, sent the Valentine, but she had Lily sign the card. And it was this cute little, I think it was like a Cinderella or some kind of Disney character, but it just said Happy Valentine's Day. And it was the only thing in her mailbox. And she was sad at the time. And she opened that up and she just put her hand on her heart like, oh, so sweet. And it just can make someone's day. So I always thought when I was single, and I was even doing this, sat at this podcast mic and talked to you guys as a single woman for years. And I always told myself, whatever you send into other people's lives will come back into your own. So I always thought, if I help enough people get what they want, I'll get what I want. So that was my mission. I'm going to help you find love, and eventually I will find love. And that happened. But I spent time. So I remember saying this in I just had a feeling my love was coming. It was such a weird thing, but I just knew, like, I know somebody's coming. I felt him coming toward me. And I did podcasts about it. And I said, one day I'm not going to be single anymore. So I want you guys to remember, this is how I am. This is what I'm doing as a single person. So note it, because one day it'll be different and I'll be in a relationship and I'm not going to be able to talk to you as a single girl. So you can go back and listen to those podcasts if you want, but I'm telling you, that's what I did. I sent love into other people's lives, sent Valentines, reached out to girls. I think we had like Zoom nights, like have a Zoom, grab some wine or tea and have a fun Zoom night with your single girlfriends, or go hang out with some people, get out and about, or have a cozy night at home. I mean, if you're an introvert like me, like a cozy night at home with some fun movies and, buy some Valentine's candy. Like, who cares? Being able to really just enjoy yourself. So if you can, you know what I did one time on Valentine's Day? I just remembered. I went to opening night of 50 Shades of Grey, which, it's not my proudest moment, but I was so curious about why all these women were so focused on 50 Shades of Grey. But in one of the movies, it opened on Valentine's Day. And it was I think I went to a movie 3 times in 7 years in New York City. And that was one of the times. Went in line, got my popcorn and milk duds, sat in the theater among, I don't even know how many couples, and those poor guys that I was looking around when the light would just hit the theater, right? How awkward the guys felt in 50 Shades of Grey. But I was sitting there and I realized I didn't even think about the fact that I was out alone on Valentine's Day, because I was so excited to see what all these women were so obsessed about, because I didn't want to read the books. And then I was like, oh, they've repackaged the fairy tale. Christian Grey is like the prince and it's like forbidden love. And then I found out it was fan fiction from Twilight. Anyway, so I was just like, all of a sudden I noticed, oh my God, it's Valentine's Day. I'm by myself. I'm watching 50 Shades of Grey with my popcorn and milk duds, looking around at couples, not caring that I'm single. I think I've arrived. It was just like one of those moments. So, try to like take it on as a challenge. Who cares? It's just like, it's not a big deal. It's just a cute, fun holiday. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, I should be getting a dozen roses. And, just remember, all the girls that are getting, well, maybe not, nobody can get roses at work anymore because no one's in the office right now. But if you are in an office and somebody's getting flowers, be happy for her, because one day that will be you and you will want people to be happy for you. Trust me, when you find love, you really find out who your real friends are, because the fake friends are not happy you find love. So we need to be in that mindset where we are happy for others that find love, because it's going to happen to you. So just have that positive expectation. Know that it's coming, and then let it go. Buy yourself some candy hearts, go to a movie. Maybe if you're in for the challenge, go do something like go to the movies by yourself. You'll probably be the only one in the theater right now. Nobody's going to the movies anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like, take yourself out for a romantic dinner on Valentine's Day. Like, just try it. See what happens. And it doesn't have to be like, yes, Melissa, this was the most amazing experience. I'm so glad I sat by myself with all these other couples around. But I don't know. See what it feels like. Because sometimes when you just take it on, you do the scariest thing. You're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. Had a nice dinner. Bring a book. Don't sit there and look around like a weirdo. Like, bring something to do. Bring a journal. Whatever inspires you, do it. And don't anticipate the holiday and let it depress you, because it's just not worth it. Love is coming for you. It's just not right this time, but it will be. So when you trust in that, you can just, like Tony Horton says from P90X, do your best. No, do your best, forget the rest is what he says. All right, you guys, I feel like I'm going to start to get cheesy if I go on anymore. So I hope this helps you. Write your pros and cons list of your guy, past or present. What are you holding on to? And do you need a coach? Do you need to join us? I want you to join us if you're feeling inspired. Just do it. It's not that big of a deal. You won't feel scared. If you want to join us on Zoom and you don't want to be on video, that's completely fine. I don't care if you're on video. I don't care if you just listen in. I just want you to show up however you can show up, whatever you're going through. Everyone in the group is going through some stuff. So, they might need your support. They do need your support, so don't think you're joining a group of people that are like, they have it all together and they're going to be judging you. No, everyone's joining this group because they're going through some stuff and they're feeling challenged and they're leaning on each other to get through it. And so it's just a group that will surround you with love and support. All right, my love. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.